Put your filters on so my hair looks better.
Jennie, you've always talked about wanting to grow the game in the state, and ever since you got here, you've talked about that. Just how awesome is it for this program that Sunday you get to announce a sellout like that, and with LSU coming to town especially?
Well, especially since it's already announced, right? It's not your walk-up crowd. It's, there's people that want to come. And I think we've been talking about, two different things. Obviously, the easy thing is we keep talking about from a national perspective, there's a lot of eyes on this program. There's a lot of eyes on this conference. And so for our local people to be able to come, and I know there'll be LSU fans, and I know there'll be obviously Oklahoma fans, but think about how many people will be here and it's their first time here, and it's their first time maybe at a women's basketball game, or at least an Oklahoma women's basketball game. And so we don't want to take that for granted. And the second piece is this is an absolute dream, and I just could not have more gratitude that the people that started coming here, even all what felt like 12 in those first games, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but they've willed this as much as our dreams have, as much as our players have. It's the fans that come every game and that stay to the end and that are part of this with us. They're the ones that have made this happen, and I just couldn't have more gratitude for them to be able to do this.
Raegan, just from your guys' perspective, how excited are you? I know that you guys travel across the country and play huge atmospheres in the SEC. To have one of those behind you guys, what does that mean for you?
Beyond exciting. Obviously, like Jennie said, we have some devoted fans that have continued to come in and show up for us. And it is incredible just to see the work that we put in day in and day out, and to see that in an arena, kind of just those people that want to come and support us. I learned that recently just now that 2009 was the last time we had a sellout. And so immediately my mind went to Courtney Paris. And it's like, we are doing the things, this team is doing the things that is getting us to where Courtney Paris was. Obviously, she's an insane player. But to be able to do those things and reach this point is just incredible, and I'm proud of this team for getting us there. And obviously, like Jennie said, there's going to be lots of fans, LSU, Oklahoma, but it's going to be really exciting.
Jennie, what's kind of been the, takeaways the last few days, your takeaways from how the group played at Kentucky and what you're kind of looking at going into this LSU matchup?
I think we've had to kind of reframe our perspective in terms of, I think, you kind of forget that it's a long season and it's a process, and when you stop focusing on the process and you start focusing how bad you want to win, and then you just want to win and you want to win and you want to win and you want to win, and you kind of forget to get better, and you kind of forget that it's a process, and you forget that you have to make winning plays for the outcome to get you. I think that's really what we've really tried to focus on. We've tried to just take a step back and not focus on a record or not focus on winning or losing, but how do we get better? Yes, there's game planning involved, but there's a lot less game planning involved when you're looking in a mirror. It's the things you have to do every day, and especially in this league. And again, experience is our best teacher, and it got physical real fast for us as we've played these last 2 weeks. And I think that's probably been our biggest adjustment. I think the other thing is we've been in some end of game situations that maybe we weren't in prior to that point. And so you don't know what it feels like unless you're in it. You can practice it as much as you want, but unless you're in it, you don't really understand the feel. You don't understand the smell. You don't understand what your teammates look like and how you look at each other and how you say, okay, no, we're going to get this. Until you're in it. And so our end of games that we've been practicing are a little bit different now that you know how it feels.
Go ahead. Sorry. Just Raegan, I think after the Kentucky game that talked about, wanting to get the ball to you more down low. Does that also kind of fall on you to maybe try and demand the ball a little bit more down low, or just how will that maybe impact you guys moving forward if you get more touches? Down there?
Well, 100%. That's on me to demand it and tell them where I want it. Half the time I'm calling for it and they don't know where I want it, or they see something that I don't. And so it relies a lot on trusting that they're seeing what I'm not, and I'm feeling what they're not down there. And so I think they have done a phenomenal job of working through that and realizing that on film. I know when we watched a lot of our Kentucky plays earlier this week with some of the girls, they were like, we just got to throw it, like just throw it. And so I feel like we're starting to realize that. And then on my end of like, I can take advantage of some more positions to post up instead of going out or doing certain things. And so it's a combination of all those things, me demanding it more, posting up more, and us getting it inside. Bottom line, we just need to get the ball in the paint, whether that's through me, Sahara, whoever wants to get in there. We got to get in the paint so then our shots from the outside come a lot easier. And the more we do that, the more successful we're going to be.
Does that mean a lot just to hear from your teammates that they can see that, they want you to get the ball down low and stuff?
I mean, that's who we are, I feel like. I feel like we are not shy to tell our teammates to shoot it and not shy to tell people to shoot it again. You're going to make that. I can't tell you the amount of times I'm like, Aaliyah, you're shooting that again. That's a good shot for you. You're wide open, and I trust you to shoot that again. Or same with Sahara of like, you're shooting that again. Shoot that high post shot. If I'm being doubled, shoot it. So we are not afraid to tell each other that, and I think that is really helpful. And in a system like this that Jennie has just harped on, that helps our individual development and helps our development as a team, which I think is really cool, and to see that growth as a team.
Raegan, what has this week been for you, just as a leader on this team, just trying to get your players back, kind of going the right way?
Yeah, a lot of it has been a focus on our on the offensive side of the ball. We've been trying to just get our rhythm back in that, because obviously we watched a lot of film in the past week from our past 2 losses, and trying to figure out how I can do better, how we can do better as a team, and get our offense flowing like it was. In that non-con, we were flowing and we weren't thinking, and we were just playing. And Jennie has emphasized a lot of just falling in love with the fact that we are still growing. We are not where we want to be in March. You don't want to be hitting your peak right now. You want to be hitting your peak in March. And so she has really emphasized that, and I think we've taken on that of just pouring into the fact that we are still growing. This is a process, like she just said not too long ago, and we need to be okay with that and trust that process.
Jennie, with that mindset, just have you seen the freshmen take on that, try and not think as much, especially on offense?
Mm-hmm. Well, at the end of the day, we still got to focus on guarding first.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's still been an element for us. And I think that's where our freshmen have actually found some success in focusing on that first. And it's less about, trying to prove yourself and trying to find and pound it into Raegan. And although I won't give her 100% that it's her fault, I think we need to get her the ball a lot more. I do think that we're still trying to learn, and we're trying to learn how to place it, and we're trying to learn what aggressive means, right? Because to some of us, when you hear go be aggressive, you hear, let me drive to the basket and score regardless of what's happening. Those are things that you kind of underestimate when you're a freshman, right? What does aggressive actually mean? What does it mean if I'm in a scorer's mentality? Because to us, it means you might shoot, you might pass, you might cut, you might space out, right? And so there's different things. So as much as we've done too much scripting, we need to start to play and get a little bit more instinctual. And in order to get instinctual, your spacing has to be a lot better. So that's really where our freshmen, we've focused a lot more on when you cut, what do you do after? Right? And how do you cut? You can't just cut to cut. You have to cut to score, right? And when you screen, how do you screen, and what do you need to do after? And I think those types of things are the things that we've really noticed our freshmen are doing a great job of. I mean, you can even see, Leah's still trying to find the balance of when when we have advantages and when she needs to get our team, into something. Zaya's in the same space. When we have an advantage, great. And if we don't, then what do we need to be able to do? And those are hard things for point guards to learn. So sometimes when we don't know what to do, we create. Right? And that's where we're still in that process of really trying to learn. But I can tell you, especially the 2 of them as young point guards are doing a great job of wanting to learn. They're really craving learning. That's to her point of, it's not like we don't want her to shoot, and not every shot is a good shot. And at the same time, she's learning. She's 19. And so she's got to be able to learn to do that with 3 very vocal players that are seniors and a junior. And I think the same for Zaya. I think they both, in watching the film, they both are seeing and trying to learn, and honestly have gotten so much better putting us in those positions. And now we got to read and react a little bit more. We just got to flow a little bit better.
You said after the Kentucky game, you guys are going to need to make some decisions. Do you feel you and your team have made those decisions entering Sunday?
I think we've made the decisions that we can to this point. I don't think that we have, it's an ongoing process. That's the beautiful part about a long season. That's the beautiful part about basketball is we have so many games. Football, it's so limited and it's every week, and you gotta, it's a big difference week to week. Where in basketball, like you can't get too high, you can't get too low. We've all heard that. The decisions that we need to make are how connected are we going to be as a team, and how much are we going to set each other up offensively and defensively. We're doing some really good things on both sides of the ball, and then we're doing things we got to get a lot better at, where we're still trying to prove ourselves. We still have some youthfulness. We still have some immaturity kind of coming out. I don't think it's in a selfish, negative way. It's in an I don't know, lack of experience type of a way. And so the decisions of I want to be on this team, I love this team, I love Oklahoma more than anything else, we have that decision made, and that's easy.
Yep.
So it helps. It's just a little bit harder because we want everything yesterday, especially me.
Raegan, sticking with that, I know after the Ole Miss game, you sort of challenged yourself, Peyton, Sahara,
Mm-hmm.
to kind of do more or step up as leaders.
Yeah.
Going back to those decisions that Jennie was talking about, how influential are you three, especially when it comes to some of that stuff?
I think we had a meeting earlier this week, just kind of figuring out what those decisions were, how we were going to decide those certain things after that Kentucky loss and after that Ole Miss loss. And I think that we realized as upperclassmen, at least I personally realized, that we were carrying a little too much for the freshmen, which was not an excuse prohibiting us to play in any way, because we need to show up regardless. But it's easy to forget that they are freshmen, they're learning. And so I think I personally was taking too much of that on when it is the coach's job to coach them. And sure, I'm a coach on the floor for sure, but that can sometimes take away from us as a team if we're not fully there. And so I think as leaders, almost we have not taken a step back, but have raised our standards in the level of encouragement that we are to them, those younger classmen, and leading them by example, and not just coaching and telling them what to do, but doing it ourselves and saying that's what we mean. That's what we mean by go rotate, because I just did it. So there's a lot more of that rather than talking at them from our point of view. The coaches, that's their job, but from our point of view as upperclassmen, there's a lot less talking to them and more of showing them what the right thing to do is, giving them a visual of what I'm supposed to do right. And I think Peyton and Sahara and I have done a phenomenal job of that, especially the past couple of days in practice when it comes to offensively and defensively, as we take a step forward to go to LSU on Sunday.
Jennie just talked about a lot of the stuff you can't learn about each
Mm-hmm.
other or yourself until you're in that moment. What have you learned about your young pieces so far through a couple of really tight battles and a handful of SEC games?
Somebody put their ballers. Aaliyah hits some of the toughest shots I think I've ever seen from a freshman. And then Zaya just has this sense of calm that sometimes I learned last year that's not because she doesn't care. And last year I'm like, you even care? It's not that she doesn't care. That's just who she is. But she has this crazy sense of calm that just helps her in those moments stay composed. Sometimes, yes, she has to lock back in. We got to help her with that. She's young. It's going to happen. But she has that ability to just stay steady with her emotions when it comes to that, and she's getting better at that. Plenty of room to grow for sure, but I think she's getting better at that. And so it is really cool to see how Zai specifically has grown from last year to this year, and even from non-con to conference, how they continue to get better. Running a point guard position is not easy because you have to make sure you're in the right spot. You have to make sure the rest of your team is in the right spot before you do anything. That's not an easy task for a freshman and sophomore. So I'm proud of them for the way that they've just put in the work, and like Jennie said, they want to grow. You can see how much they want to grow, how much they want to learn, and they continue to pour into their teammates and say, yep, that's my bad, let's go get into our offense. And again, hard thing to do. And so I'm proud of them for that, and they're going to continue to grow and get better.
Jennie, what kind of sticks out to you about LSU on film and the group that Ken's got?
Mm-hmm. I mean, they're so good. They're so talented. They're probably in a similar position where they're relying on a lot of young players too, and yet have this incredible experience in their guard core. I mean, they're just so incredibly talented. Obviously, Raegan got to be teammates with Flauj, and I got to coach her, so we know her firsthand, just her work ethic and just how great she is. And obviously, Sahara Williams played with Michaela Williams in 3-on-3, so it's a team that it's a team that. It's not going to necessarily just be about scoring. Although you do, because they can just score the ball, but you got to guard, you got to be tough, you got to defend. I mean, Kim Mulkey's a winner. She always has been. And so, she gets her teams to play really, really hard and gritty. And quite honestly, they're always going to be a team that you look at to say, okay, they're a certain kind of standard. And so as we're trying to build our program, you want to be a certain kind of standard too. So you got nothing but respect for them, and I'm just excited for us to be able to come out here and to be able to play in front of everybody.
Raegan, what do you remember from chaotic game last year in Baton Rouge, just about what it takes to compete with that caliber team through 40 minutes?
A lot of things I remember, just reliving it. I don't
She was
know.
on the bench a lot.
I was on the bench a lot, yeah. Unfortunately, so it's not going to happen on Sunday. But I just remember they crash really hard. They're rebounding. That's what they do, in my opinion. I mean, we were watching a little bit of film today, and I mean, every single one of them on our scout was rebounder. Like, you can go down that bench and they rebound the ball. And so I think it's important for this team to do that on Sunday. And that is an area I think we have struggled in, obviously, in the SEC. And we saw in Kentucky, I missed no board, and then a couple other people missed no boards and cost us possessions at the end of the game that was within 4 points that we could have won if we would have grabbed the ball. And so we see how crucial that rebounding is and how important that's going to be, and we saw it on film today how important that's going to be. And so that was one thing that I remember last year, of just how much they crash and how hard they do. And so it's going to be very important for this team to just make a decision. Are we going to rebound and win the game, or are we going to lose again because we decide not to rebound? So I think we have taken a step forward in that, and we continue to do that.
Raegan, I know you guys are focused on basketball.
Mhm.
Just how cool is it for your brother to sign on to the football team this week?
Yeah, super cool. We actually just moved here yesterday, so I was helping them move for like 7 hours after workouts yesterday. I was just
made me so
yeah.
happy.
Well, I wasn't carrying anything heavy. But my brother, I'm not touching heavy stuff. Are you kidding me? My brother and dad were here. I'm not touching anything heavy whatsoever, so they're fine. But helping my sister-in-law like move her organize her house. It was a really cool experience to have that. And to just know he's going to be in an Oklahoma jersey. And I have loved my experience here in this program and then in Oklahoma and in Norman. So I'm just glad that he is going to get to have that same experience of just getting to know this place and these people, because it really is an incredible place to be and to go to school and to play football and to play basketball. And so I'm just so excited that he's going to get to experience that.
Is he gonna go 15-2 like you, or is he?
I think he's staying with 81.
Okay.
And people might like that better. More 81 beers apparently and 15 beers. There you go. I don't know. 81's a sick number, though. I don't know.
Awesome. Thanks, y'all.
Appreciate you all.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you. Boomer.